Hello and welcome to the Free Cheese episode 615. I'm your Joe Dix, joined by Matt Zellner.
Hello.
The Free Cheese is a weekly video game podcast about video games, brought to you once a week by thefreecheese.com. This week, we're back playing video games. Deus Ex is the video game we've been playing, and we're here to talk about it and our experience so far. Before we dive into Deus Ex, Matt, what's cyberpunk to you? Do you like cyberpunk? Do you do you long for cyberpunk?
I do like
When you
Cyberpunk.
think, yeah,
What was that last question? You were
I
about to
don't know.
say,
I
do
was
you
kind of rambling.
think?
Do you think? What do you think of when you think of cyberpunk? What's your baseline?
Oh, it was very tough not to think of 2077 since that's like the lead of that title
Sure, sure,
nowadays.
sure.
But like maybe not the Deus Ex we're talking about today, but an Adam Jensen Deus Ex also would probably come to mind.
You did a lot of Adam Jensen Deus Ex. Yeah, I want to dive into a little bit of that and compare that to what we've seen so far in Deus Ex, the original Deus Ex. Um, I feel like for me, I hadn't seen this until like 2017, 16, somewhere in there. But I think up until seeing it and then ever since having seen it, Ghost in the Shell is the thing that has like been in my brain of like what cyberpunk is and feels like and smells like and tastes like. So now I'm to the point where I rewatch that movie like it probably twice a year,
ScarJo?
even if it's just passive. Yeah, that's the one. You know, that one got a lot of hate, and I'm not gonna say that it didn't, but it was a fine movie in terms of putting that story on a big screen. It was fine. It's not my preferred way to watch it. My preferred way to watch it's probably going to be next year's Science Saru adaptation from the people what did the Dan to Dan anime and I don't remember what else. The weird cool claymation looking Adventure Time episode maybe. They've done some other stuff. But yeah, that one looks really good, at least in the little teasers they've put out for that Ghost in the Shell, but otherwise the original 95 movie, that's the one to me. And Deus Ex kind of taps into that in its own ways. Like I feel the flavor for sure. I think speaking of Keanu, I think The Matrix also goes a long way in
Mm.
terms of defining our modern idea of what cyberpunk. I don't know. There's that for me. I don't know how much of this I've brought up to you in real life, but I'm also kind of perpetually flirting with the idea of building my own cyber deck. Have we gone down that discussion
No.
between the two of us? All right. Welcome to hell. I think what I'm gonna end up doing, because I've done significant amount of like digging. I think I'm gonna use a keyboard like this,
Mm-hmm.
just a standard small Apple trackpad piece. I'm gonna like custom design my own casing for the thing and get a display, my own self, and just assemble something that I order like machine printed or something from PCBWay or one of those websites that does on demand printing of stuff you draw up. I don't even know how to do 3D modeling. I'm just gonna learn it so I can make a dumb cyber deck. I'm obsessed with that stupid concept. And I feel like it'd be fun to have a dumb little thing, especially one that I like kind of hack together and make my own stupid little. There's something real dumb about it, and just run Linux on it with a window manager and make it look all cool and feel like I really am insert whatever uh cyberpunk character du jour you prefer. Um, that's another thing. I can send you my my screenshot. Got my inspo boards. I've basically like made my own private Pinterest just for cyberdeck inspiration. And one day I will pull the trigger and put one together.
That's
And
amazing.
then it's a dumb thing. There's like a whole, you can find all sorts of people have made some gnarly ones, some real gnarly ones with like hot glue. I've seen people who like take old electronics and cut them to bits and just throw computers inside of them. There's all sorts of fun stuff out there just awaiting. Um, yeah. You ever go down that hole in your brain of like, I want something. You see tech in a movie or a show or whatever, and you're like, I want to build my own stupid thing like that.
Sure, I mean, define I want to build and actually pursuing it to any degree, but I'm sure there's
Hmm.
something I can't think of that has piqued my interest.
What's the closest you remember coming to being like, okay, that's cool. I need to do that.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything. Sorry, I'm also getting distracted going through the r/cyberdeck subreddit and looking
There
at
you
these
go.
people's pictures.
You're getting the vibe for it, right? Like it rules.
I was waiting for it. Yeah, there's someone's Pit Boy. Yeah, I was waiting.
Sure. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
this looks like an
Someone had to do
envy.
one. It might be an envy, but you know, the fun part is when people cut up envies and shove other things inside of them. Um, yeah, man, they're all shapes and sizes. I've seen them like in an in like a mint box, you know, like an Altoids thing. All
Yeah,
sorts
there's
of
all kinds of
nightmares.
stuff going on here.
Yeah, dude. It's a cool hell to live inside of. And eventually I'll have something. The idea would be to make it completely modular so I can like swap out parts as I want to upgrade, all for nothing. Like my entire purpose for wanting to use something like this that I build is like, I don't know, to take notes maybe, or just like open up a bunch of windows so it looks like I have like a bat computer or something. I've got no real use case for it. No programming, no cool. I'm not SSHing into anything. I'm just doing dumb stuff, man. Just want to mess around with hardware. Deus Ex. Developed by Ion Storm. Published by Eidos. Released on the PC June 22nd, 2000. Back of the box reads, question everything. Civilization is near collapse. The world economy is in chaos, and terrorism runs rampant. A deadly virus known as Grey Death ravages the Earth's population. An ancient conspiracy bent on world domination emerges from the shadows of legend. The conspirators' greatest strength? No one believes they exist. No one but you. A chaotic blend of real world conspiracies, cliffhangers, and plot twists. The game that incorporates the best elements of role playing, action, adventure, and first person shooter genres, character interaction that matters, how you choose to deal with scores of NPCs affects the outcome of the game, minute to minute, mission to mission, start to finish. Create a compelling alter ego. Select and develop your own unique set of skills and nanotech augmentations. Determine which weapons and objects you need to survive and solve problems. Will you be the charismatic master manipulator, the shrewd and stealthy tactician, or the deadly avenging angel? No need for Oxford commas on that box. And that's Deus Ex. We should say up front, if you're listening here, we are not going to dive into spoilers for the game because, spoiler alert, we don't have anything to spoil. We're still making our way through this one. We learned pretty quickly how dense this game is, and we didn't want to shortchange it. So we're going to talk about getting up and running in Deus Ex. We'll talk about the first few stages and our experience with them. how we've been approaching the game, how it compares to some of the later entries in the series and other games we've played similar to this. But then we'll kind of leave it hanging for a full, I don't want to say spoiler cast later this year, but at least like any of the further stuff in the story and anything that would be considered spoilers, we'll do in our part two of this, where we will rank it on the list. Until then, you can head over to thefreecheese.com/the list to see all of the video games that we've ranked so far and prepare to see where Deus Ex will rank as well. I think the first thing I want to jump into is playing this game in 2025, which I don't know. Did you intend for this to be a 25th anniversary celebration, or was that just happenstance?
A little bit of both. You yeah, you provided a document of anniversaries,
As I do.
and then I was already thinking about putting this game onto the list, and then I saw that and I was like, well, it's time to put it on the list.
And we're in like a weird spot now. There's a mosquito or something. That's fun. We're in a weird spot now where as I'm looking at anniversaries, there's more and more games that because like usually I'm like looking like, okay, what's in the like 20 to 35 range? And there's like more and more games every year where it's like, oh man, like next year alone, this year too, there's so many games that come out in like 95 or 96 that we could just do a, a full 1996 run of video games and have enough content to fill the podcast for a year easily. But as we get into 2000, especially, it's a ton of stuff in 2000. Um, why were you leaning towards putting this on the list prior to knowing that it would sync up nicely with a?
Again, exploring the first person shooter genre. I feel like this is one of the pinnacle ones, not necessarily for its shooting, but more so the first personing of this
Yeah,
game.
yeah,
And this has always been like this game that I've always wanted to play, but never kind of sat down to. Or when I have sat down to it, I played that first stage, and I'm just like, whew, I'm not ready for this right now, kind of deal.
yeah.
So yeah, I figured this using the list as an excuse to finally kick me to play it is was now it was the time. It was the time.
Yeah, I'm stoked that you put it on because it was always one. I don't know why the PS3 ones and PS4 or whatever like didn't grab me. I was like intrigued by them. I just don't know why I didn't follow through with it. But this was one where I was always like, man, this one's so seminal and it influenced so many games. So many other creators reference this one. I feel like I should go back to it at some point. So I was stoked that you added it. I playing this today is not impossible. It's on Steam. It's probably on GOG. I didn't check, but you can grab it. Um, did have to do a little bit out of the box to make it run. For me, it's still a little weird where like my cursor movement on the pause screen is like way faster than my actual like in-game mouse movement. And then I think we're both kind of experiencing a little bit of like not every time, but sometimes just weird hitching when pausing the game. Is that still, I mean, I did notice like the last two times I sat down to play, that didn't happen except for the one time I alt tabbed and going back to it like really broke things. It was a
Yeah.
bad mistake. Um, are you still running into that at all, or is that
I'm still pulling up the menu sometimes is like really bad. Um,
interesting?
it just like the inventory screen, or when I accidentally hit the
Yeah,
pause
yeah,
menu, like that kind of stuff is minor inconvenience at the end of the day. But something I've noticed. But yeah, you need to do something to the Steam version. I can't speak to the
yeah,
GOG version. I'm gonna assume it's the same, but
probably.
to the Steam version of the game, because the Game of the Year edition, the last time it was patched, broke something, and it never like repatched it. and there's a ton of fan mods to get it up and running. There are some to get it to its original state as best as it can with like the most minor of some quality of life stuff, like button remapping. Like when I say like that, like it's like the Quake
Yeah, yeah,
with a
yeah.
mouse kind of treatment. Um,
Yeah.
with like the graphics kind of pretty much the same, maybe minus bumping the resolution some or whatever. There's some that like kind of shade this whole game to make it look like it's something closer to today than ever.
Are you running that mod?
No. I'm just saying like
Oh,
there's
okay,
all
okay.
kinds of stuff to get this up
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah, I
running,
was
but
curious how that
I
one looks.
think like you need something though, and luckily, like I said, the Steam community thread the page has tons of stuff with pretty
Yeah, yeah, it's
straightforward
easy enough.
instructions. I'm sure the GOG stuff is all there too.
This like I will say like it didn't not run out of the box, but it just felt weird and it just felt a little
I
off
think it. I
and
think I was reading it breaks stuff breaks later on.
that I'm worried about. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But like in terms of like if you did just roll with it, like I don't think you'll necessarily experience what I experienced, but yeah, I to Matt's point, if it's breaking stuff down the line, probably want to patch it.
I would patch it just seeing what the fucking controls were originally is worth
Dude,
that alone.
yeah, that was one of the first things I did. Like, I'm not like you play on PC a lot more than I do. So the like muscle memory for certain things, I think for you is a lot more ingrained than it is for me. But even me, I was like hitting control to crouch and I wasn't happening. I don't even, what's the default crouch?
I don't
C
know.
or
It could be C. I've played stuff where it's C before by default. That wasn't one of
it
the
might
worst
be that.
offenders.
But yeah, just there's weird stuff. So I think I've got myself in a nice place with like tweaking things. I also feel like I'm not fully aware of everything I should be hitting.
There are a
Like
lot of buttons. Like I got to the end of that remapping, it was like, fuck.
yeah,
Like
like I forgot things after like 2 seconds after I'd remapped them, and then like I'm in the middle of the stage. I'm like, oh, I wonder if you can. I'm like, oh wait, I think you can do that. And looking it up, I'm like, yeah, yeah, right. It's left bracket on the keyboard. Like it's it's that kind of thing. And like I don't know, man. Not I'm. This is a game where I think that experience of like what am I missing in the controls, I think extrapolates out to the entirety of the game because there's so much of this game is like you're gonna get out what you put in more than, but I think like you're only gonna get out of this what you're able to allow it to. And I think if you take your time and you learn the controls, and that was honestly why I think both of us agreed we should push the make this a two-parter and really spend the summer with this game and like get lost in it. Like instead of it just being like, well, it's roughly this amount of time to beat, we should, like really just like spend time and really like get lost with it. And it's been much more refreshing. Not that like every game we're like speed running through or anything like that, but with us doing a game per week on the podcast, you kind of have to keep at a pretty brisk clip of let me get through, let me not that there's I don't know what was the last few things we played like not a ton of side stuff you can do in Flower, that's gonna make it so that you need to like go wandering.
yeah, I'm looking at the
But
like geometry, like the last couple weeks, Geometry Wars,
yeah,
like that is what it is. But like Harvester,
right. Harvester took a lot. Like I had to spend a bit of time with Harvester taking notes and backtracking and doing like you needed to spend time with that. We've got stuff upcoming that like is all I've been playing for a long. I mean, I've been playing Tokyo Extreme Racer since January, so it's not necessarily like that's not the right answer. But yeah, I mean, like there's stuff that just takes time, and Deus Ex is one where like as soon as I got through the first little bit of it, I was like, this like I kind of want to just like huff this game. You know what I mean? Do the kids still huff?
I don't think so. I
All
think they
right.
vape.
Oh, good point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I want to vape this game, you know? Uh, it's very cyberpunk, I think. Going back a little bit, besides playing the game, I want to talk about the influences on this game. Do you know of any? It's not a loaded question. I just like, or what does this game remind you of that came before it?
So I know like I know some of the backstory to this. Um, Ion Storm, what came from the people that made Thief, pretty much, right?
That sounds right.
So I know like Thief, like that team kind of migrated out of that. And I think, dude, I can't remember people's names now, but the main kind of like auteur of this or game designer or whatever, director,
Warren Spector?
maybe, I don't know. If you tell me a name, I'm not going to like remember. But like main dude like had this idea for a game and I think he tried to pitch it and it didn't come to fruition. So he finally made it when he spun out his own team, an Ion Storm, which funnily enough is under um John Romero's.
Right, right, right. Yeah, Ion Storm was John Romero and Tom Hall after they'd left id, and then yeah, Warren
Right, Ion Storm
Spector.
is that team. Yeah, they made like a separate team
Yeah,
within Ion. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, yeah.
yeah. But Warren Spector, you're 100% right. Warren Spector had worked on Thief, and then yeah, they were at what is it? Origin and Looking Glass Studios
Looking Glass,
before.
that's right. Okay,
Yeah,
yep. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yep.
so he'd worked on some of the later Ultima games, System Shock, um, and then Thief: The Dark Project. Um, and then it was with John Romero setting up Ion Storm, where he persuaded Warren Spector to they set up Ion Storm Austin and just said, whatever you want to make, here's the money to make it. Go. Um, which, yeah, a lot. The history goes on from there, but yeah. So yeah, Thief. I think had you played the original Thief,
I've
or
never played a Thief game. I've only seen it from afar.
you have a fascination with them? I feel like the state of play when that one came up, you kind of lit up for it, but that's not the first time I've seen you like pop off for Thief.
I just want to see Thief do good. I feel like that game, like there was that PS3 one, PS4
Sure.
one, early PS4, late PS3. I don't know. There was that one from I'm going to say a few years ago, but it's probably like 10 years at this rate.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, that just it didn't look all that good. I don't know. I feel like we need a new. Yeah, it's not even like my cup of tea. It's like a Robin Hood kind of thing. It's like not my. It's like not my
Not
era of
your, yeah.
game. Yeah,
Well, maybe the
I was
VR
more
one
so
will.
popping off for you because you had something to play on your VR.
That's true. Add one to the list. I haven't played Beat Saber, but I saw they're killing support for Beat Saber on PSVR. So
Two or one?
pick both.
Why? Oh, never mind. Well,
I I guess no one's playing PSVR, one or two.
anyway,
I, anyway,
Deus Ex.
yep. And I think going the other way, like we've both played a lot of games that were influenced by Deus Ex. Like, um, where did you land on Dishonored? Because I've got feelings about Dishonored.
I try getting into it, and I think Metal Gear Solid has ruined me for stealth, and I need to play in third person, and I suck at it in first person, and it just
Yeah.
I was killing everyone. I mean, when I say I was killing everyone, I think I played like maybe 2 levels, maybe 3. I was killing everyone, and I know that impacts the ending. I wanted the perfect ending, and I got into my head, so then I wanted to replay the game, but then I suck at it, so I was killing everyone again, and then I just stopped playing.
Okay, so you just described my exact experience with Dishonored.
Okay.
Like, I really like that. I think the world is cool. I think they're like, what is it?
Think so
Whale
too.
fat as currency is cool.
Think
Yeah,
so too.
but I just couldn't. I can't play it. I'm not good at it.
Also, I
And
mean, I can't speak for that studio now because they've put out some trash, but like they have a good pedigree. I like
Right.
Prey a lot.
Yeah, so there's like a precedent there. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of want to play two maybe because two, but I don't know. I just
Ship
don't.
sailed.
But that's been a fun thing for playing Deus Ex, like knowing that I've tried games like Deus Ex before, or rather games that were influenced by it and done poorly. Because um, Dishonored is the big one I can think of. There's other like first person stealth like that. Even third person stealth, I'm okay at, but you know, I think the games that have very serious consequences when you don't stay hidden are the ones that I end up like not doing well at and not engaging with for a long time. And that was Deus Ex for me for a little bit until I got comfortable with the quick save, which has kind of been my like savior throughout this whole run where I kind of generally like my approach to playing this game has been what's my objective and it are you still have I don't know if you have it mapped to G or not. Is G your best friend? Because that's been my best friend of like, wait, what am I doing? G. And it pulls up the menu that just shows you sort of at the bottom half, it's like any notes that you have of
Oh,
like just
I
little
don't know my
interactions.
shortcut. I don't even know if I remapped it. I've just been hitting tab and clicking it.
And go this one, like, I get you right to inventory. G for me, I think it's the default, gets you right into like what's your mission objective and any relevant notes that, from interactions you've had with people or things you've learned in the world or whatever. Um, it's been like I kind of open that up. I'm like, where do I go? What's next? I head in whatever direction I think I'm supposed to head into. And then like I I, I usually like if I know, okay, I'm about to step into something, I quick save and then I walk through like best case scenario, I go in, I stealth my way through, I figure it out. Worst case scenario, whoops, I got spotted. Okay, let me use this opportunity to just mow everybody down and like look around the area and see what I'm supposed to do. Then I'll reload that quick save and like now I've got a path in front of me. So definitely like not playing as intended, but it's helped me to like shake off a bit of that because it's a full. I mean, it's a role playing game in like the purest of the sense, and they're not wrong in the on the box art when they say like the minute to minute, mission to mission. Like there's a couple moments where like you're told to do something, I screwed it up, and immediately it's like, okay, mission complete, but like with this consequence or whatever, and then like someone's in your radio telling you like, oh, you screwed that up, or you need to go here now and tell them how you screwed up, that kind of thing. Has that been your experience so far?
Um, so I mean, I've been quick saving. Maybe not quite as religiously as you, but quick saving. But I also have. I always am in the habit now of making like 8 different saves and revolving them as kind
Oh,
of
like that. Okay.
like so that way if like I need to back all the way out of the building, I have that ability as well. Um, but no, I've been kind of letting myself go, and I did a little bit of research, and I might break some immersion for you. But
No,
I
please.
did read that in especially in the second half of this game, killing people first, stealthing through people doesn't really matter.
Okay. That's a plus.
So knowing that, it's helped me be like, all right, let me try to get through an area. Oh, shit's hit the fan. Let me shoot my way through this area, and then I'll
Yeah.
deal with whatever. But I haven't really failed an objective yet. At least
If
not
that's a
without
viable
dying.
thing, I'm
Without at
good with
least
it.
without like if I died, I'd sure.
Sure, sure.
Like in the Statue of Liberty level, trying to break out. I forget the character's name, but trying to free your partner or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I died like 10 times in that little like hallway where he's at trying to sneak through the guards.
Yep.
But like yeah, sure. But I did that objective properly at some point.
The one that gave me trouble was the uh is it Battery Park? Where and the thing I like about this
Second
too,
level.
this game, like you're in New York City, and it is New York, like that. Like Matt said, the first level opens up on Statue of Liberty. Like there are named references to real world places. Um, it's interesting. But yeah, so there's hostages being held in a subway station under Battery Park. And in that one, you kind of like you get the task to go rescue them. You can see the way in, and there's like a gunfight happening between your side. So we should back up also. You play as JC Denton. Uh, got a brother named, was it Paul,
Paul,
who
yes.
also works for the same
UNATCO, right?
anti-terrorism. For what?
Is it UNATCO? Am I thinking of the right?
That might be right. I don't have it written down, but you're both
Yes, the
part of an
United
anti.
Nations Anti-Terrorist Coalition.
That'll do it. Um, and yeah, the level I'm thinking of, you approach, and part of your group are in a firefight with some of the terrorists, and you can. This was one where like I kind of watched it all play out, and I tried a couple things. I ended up bailing on that entire scenario. Like I there was one where I went in and I was like, okay, let me get my gun out and just help wipe out all these dudes. Another one, I just kind of let them wipe each other out, and then everybody, all the good guys were knocked out with like one or two bad guys left standing. So I snuck around with like a baton and hit them until they fell. And then you can go like right down the subway station, and there's like an electrified gate or just like lasers. And if you cross those lasers, you will trigger death. Like you kind of see right away, like I shouldn't do that. So I never actually crossed through them to see what would happen. I just knew that'll probably, and now I know what'll happen just because I saw it from the other side.
Oh, I did it for
And
science. I had to know.
oh, you did,
Okay. I didn't know if it was a sensor, like to sound an alarm, or if the
yeah.
actual explosives would go off, and it is the latter.
I figured it was the latter. Okay, good,
Me
good
too, but
confirmation.
I did it for
Yeah,
science.
that's yeah. I just ran out, and then I was like, maybe I'm missing something because I keep feeling like maybe I'm missing something in this game. Like that's been my sort of ongoing mantra. It's like maybe I don't know. So I went back up and I like started bouncing through some of the little, I don't know, they were like not huts, they're like just these little buildings, very small. Like it's they're in the park. I don't know, but I found ladders in the corner of at least one of them, two of them, and those take you down into the vents. So I'm like working my way through the vents, and I'm like, okay, this is where I reload the save because at this point I'm like, all right, I don't want any of those people to be dead because maybe I can use them for backup later or something. I don't know. So I reload the save, kind of get back to where I was, and then I just sneak my way down because now I'm like, I'm going full stealth, right? If I'm locked in, I'm locked in. Although now hearing what you're telling me, it's nice to know I don't have to worry about that so much. But I sneak my way through the air vents. I make it all the way down. And like I kept creeping out. Like I'm like walking out of the vent. I'm like, where am I? Oh, okay. I see the hostages are over there. Let me keep going around, keep going around. Um, I get out and I'm like, all right, what am I supposed to do? Like, do I talk to them? Do I? Because like where you come out of the vent, there's not a clear line of sight on you from the terrorists, so you're not immediately spotted. But I'm like, how do I get them? What am I? How am I supposed to rescue them? Can I get them to sneak back through the vents with me or what? And I walk up and I talk to them, and it like kind of does the thing where it automatically like pulls the camera into a cutscene conversation or whatever. And as that's happening, I hear all of the like of the guns loading up, and I'm like, oh, this is gonna be bad. And as soon as I like come out of the cutscene, like they're all shooting at me. They hit one of the TNT things. Everybody blows up, and I'm like, reload save. Go back in. The second time through, I was like, well, maybe if I grab one of those TNT barrels or boxes, it's a box in this, and I throw it kind of like at one of the guys over there, like maybe that'll distract him and maybe he'll shoot it or whatever. No, those things explode on impact, and their explosion's big enough that it creates a ripple effect with everything. And then I guess that's what the trip laser does is it hits one that just ricochets and makes all of them go off. So eventually I just talked to them like from the right angle approach, I suppose, where I was able to like sneak my way to the left and open the subway door, and they ran in, and I ran in right behind them, and it was over, and didn't have to get into a firefight or anything. Like, did you have that experience eventually, or what was
No,
your?
I went in guns blazing. I went in from the front and was like kind of drip. So I threw like a smoke
Oh, yeah, yeah.
right down the front, had everyone coughing, pop, 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 and then like they started kind of running up one by one. Which the maybe it's because I'm playing on normal. I'm not doing some kind of psycho hard run on my first time through on this
Mhm.
very, I dare I say, intimidating game.
It
Uh,
is. It is that.
but like they started coming up like one by one on me, and I was like pop pop, and then like so they with them coming up to me in the steps, no chance like stray bullets really. And then kind of once I cleared up most, if not all, that I knew the vents existed at this point. I kind of went back down into the vents, finished up whatever with like running around with a crowbar or whatever I had on me, and
Yeah.
um, which that was fun because I opened the subway doors and I was like, "What's in here?" Walked in, loaded like the next stage. I'm like, "Fuck!" So I had to reload. I had to reload because I didn't know what was gonna break, and I
Oh, because they
knew from
did
like
it before the
so
hostages got on.
so not even that. I'm gonna rewind. I'm gonna tell you what my experience with this level is, and I think for the listener or the viewer, you're gonna get a real sense of how this game can fucking play out. It's awesome.
Yeah, because it seems like wildly different depending on
Yes.
the tiniest little thing you do. So, all right, go ahead, hit me.
So, um, yeah, no, I just loaded into Battery Park, and I knew that was the next stage because I have a loose walkthrough. I'm not referring to it. I just kind of want to know if I
Yeah.
need it, kind of just like a North Star, not like how to get there, just like what is the
What's the next
objective.
major
Yes.
objective? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I loaded in. I saw Hell's Kitchen. I'm like, shit, not supposed to be here. So I loaded out. And then I think I think I saved after kind of doing the stair combat. So I had to go back through the vents. So I freed the hostages. And then I went back to the main objective of getting into that fucking fort.
Oh.
So I thought, so I had this, and this is where like messing with your saves comes in. I went to the fort first and couldn't figure out the fucking code to that door. I was like, all right,
Oh.
don't know the code. No one's telling me the code. Then I went and talked to another kid. This other kid, he wanted soy food, and he was gave him soy food, and he's like, oh yeah, it is by the dock, by the way. He's like, oh yeah, there's a door they load out right here, and there's a door behind that vending machine. Fuck, don't have the weight thing to move the fucking vending machine. God damn it, don't have enough points to upgrade it either. All right, there's gotta be another way here. So I found that ventilation system, and I was like, of course this is gonna lead me underground underneath the bunker.
Sure.
I went up, down. I was getting lost, so they still may connect there. I don't know for sure, but I felt like I was in that ventilation system for way too long, and it kept rerouting me to all the different entry points into that subway.
Yeah, same.
And yeah, so I ended up clearing all that out first, thinking there was something there, and it never was. So I go back, take care of the bunker, and then find the what was it, the ambrosia container? I
Yeah,
forget.
yeah, yeah.
I forgot I even found the code too. It's something stupid
For
for the cellar door in the bunker to get to.
I don't. So I never got that either. I backtracked and came back out from the vending machine. So
So I yeah, how did I? Oh, did I open with a lockpick maybe?
there. Okay. Let me. I'm gonna walk you through my entrance to that because maybe we fill in the gap somewhere. I load into that stage. There's a kid wandering toward me. I don't know if I had soy food or not, but I just picked up every candy bar I could, and I used the vending machine at the HQ in the in between when you're there. So when this kid walked up and he's just like frail and whatever, and he was like, "I'm hungry. Do you have anything to eat?" I was like, "Yeah, dude, I got candy bars. Candy bars are good for you." Fed him a candy bar, and he was like, "Cool." And yeah, same thing. Told me like you can get in there with what's the code 9183.
Yeah, yeah.
uh you can get into the secret place, whatever. And I'm like, okay, I gotta find the vending machine. And I ran this is how stupid I am, and where this game is like, I know over my head. That's the first time I encountered the gunfight. Like I ran completely past the kid. When you're talking to the kid, just listener, viewer, if you've not played this, you're talking to the kid, and immediately behind you is the vending machine that he's referencing. Right
Yeah.
there. They made it so easy to find. And I was like, okay, I got to go find that vending machine that way. And I spent like 25 minutes just wandering around Battery Park, talking to people, like looking at statues, picking stuff up off the ground. And then eventually I was like, all right, maybe it's back by where that kid was. Sure enough, it is. And then there's a panel or something to the right of it on the wall. And I lockpicked that. I had two lockpicks on me. It took two lockpicks to engage with, and that's when the keypad comes out. 9183, the vending machine slides out of the way, and I go in. I go through that whole section, and after I interact with the ambrosia, and the guy pops in your head, and he's like, "You're good to go." I go up these stairs, I make my way around, and there's a like, it's like a, I mean, it's a bunker
It's like a
door.
cellar door. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's like,
I think I lock picked that, and that's the way I went in. I know I went in that way. I just don't remember if I got the code, or if I
see,
got the
but my
code.
problem was that getting out of that room though. There's these like big industrial like metal doors at the top of something. And because I was out of lockpicks, I couldn't get out of that cellar door. And there's another thing where like you needed like a badge or a key card or something extra or a key. I don't
There's
remember
a
what it was.
keypad on the other side of that door. We're inside the bunker,
Okay. So
and
there's
it's
something I
behind
missed.
locked doors. But I think that kid or bad guys can come out of the locked doors and leave them open after the firefight,
Okay.
depending on how that goes. I've seen it go
Yeah.
both ways. But yeah,
So I
that's
ended up just backtracking all the way through and like making my way back out again. And
yeah. So
yeah.
I went through the cellar way, found the vending machine. I was like, oh, there it is.
Yeah.
And then I ended up finding the code. I forgot where I found the code, and it was 666. I was like, God damn it! I tried like 911, 123. I tried a couple because there was really no penalty, at least not for some of these keypads. I don't know if that happens later on.
Yeah. I was curious about that too. Like if sirens go off or something.
Um, but yeah, so I do all. So all right, so hostage situation's cleared. Then I find the ambrosia. I pretty much clear everyone out, and then I come out, and then the chick, I can't remember her name now either.
Anna something.
Seems right. She's like, oh, I see. Like she drops a line. She's like, oh, I see you took care of the hostage situation already. Go to Hell's Kitchen and meet your brother.
Oh, interesting. She just picks up right away.
Yeah, she knows you've already like because I'm
That's cool.
assuming the game wants you to go to the bunker that transitioned to the hostage situation. But yeah, no, because I already took care of it trying to find a way into the bunker. Game recognized it and was like, oh, Ashley, no, you're good to go. Thanks for taking care of that. Go meet your brother.
That's really good. I like that a lot. Yeah, because I had the same thing. It was go meet your brother, and he's got something to tell you or something.
Yep. So
Um,
no, that's like that way. We're just talking. That's just one level.
oh, exactly right. Like there's so many other things that can happen. It seems.
and you're
Are you?
and you're
Yeah,
encouraged to explore because you do get like it's not like a trophy, but you do get like challenge checkpoints that get you the skill points. So even if you
yeah,
don't utilize that as your primary way of getting, if you just find it, the game will reward you for exploring, which I think is really cool just to kind of see all the different ways of entry, not just maybe not just for the skill points, but just for like practice of thinking of ways to complete objectives because there is so much. And I'm using a 9mm gun, or I
right,
found
right.
a shotgun or whatever. Not even talking about the trank darts, the little shock stick thing,
Yeah, the
um
prod. Yeah.
throwing knives. Like there are so many.
You mentioned skill points. Does that translate into your actual upgrades? Because I've not paid any attention to that system at all. I did like some upgrade back at HQ just because like it kind of not forced you to, but like it led you along
With the
enough.
doctor, right? You did that upgrade.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's two different things going on. The experience points you are earning from those things, they are for your like traits. So there's different levels.
Okay.
If you when you first I don't want to say major character because you're playing as JC, but like when you're
Yeah, but
first specking
you
out your
set your
character,
like stats. Yeah.
you have like your low like firearms, but it's like everything from like explosives to rifles to handguns to other stuff. Then there's like your lock picking, your communication, your no, not heavy like there's all the typical RPG stuff you will see in like Fallout. Like think of the Vault Boy. Like what's the, I forget what the system they use. Eh,
Oh yeah.
they have
Um,
like one for
at
speech. That's yeah. It's like,
yeah.
your typical stuff there. The augmentations, you need to talk to a doctor and have something specific, I think.
Okay. Okay. That's that makes sense. I imagine you go back and forth from HQ regularly enough.
I think so, and I think that is one of the cool, like, I don't know why. It probably is like a terrible quality of life thing in hindsight, thinking about it. But when that first Statue of Liberty thing, when it all shakes down, you get to the last guy, you either kill him or you talk him out of it or whatever. When that gets wrapped up and the dude and your team comes running up, you're like, oh yeah, we took care of all the people in here. Go report to HQ, and no fucking loading screen comes up. I think
Dude,
it's the coolest thing ever.
that was one of the first things I wrote down is like, oh, like there's a seamless transition between levels or stages, right? And like there's nothing that pops up. Like I'm referring to them as stages and levels just because like I don't know what
To
it's
me,
a
the
major
levels are like
objective.
the location, like Statue of Liberty. Then the next level is
Sure.
Battery Park, and then now like the next level is like Hell's Kitchen for me or whatever.
But you
Like,
don't even need to like call it a level because you're just sort of in
it's
the
continuous.
world. Like
It's continuous.
it just
And
goes.
there's not a
And
loading screen, and so you go into the next area.
yeah, and like it I don't know. It just flowed very nicely. It didn't no break of pace, no any it's I was very, very impressed with that. Another thing I was really early impressed with, and it keeps impressing me, is the lighting and the way that they like cast light as you use it. So you have a flashlight available to you, which I've had to use a few times. Those air vents are the big one.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
thing I noticed is like one, like how pitch black it is without it in certain areas. Two, how well it like really works. And like as you like turn your body and like the way that it shines forward and like casts a path ahead of you is so well done. The other really, really dope thing though is there was a point where I'm crawling around in the vents. I forget which part, but I'm looking like where do I go? What's next? And I turn the light and I see the light like pass over the grate and across this guy's legs. And he was like, who's there? And like I'm like, ah crap. All right, I gotta roll back. But like then I knew, let me reload the save, let me turn off the light and like sneak my way past him. And like it's all so dynamic and it worked really well. Super impressive. Um, where are you getting lockpicks at? Because I had two and I needed way more. I feel like I'm scouring each level too and like really like getting to know the.
I think I'm just getting lucky.
Yeah.
I don't. I,
I mean, you're not buying them or you're finding them or what?
I think I'm finding them. I
Okay.
don't recall me buying any.
I need more or I need a skill that lets me lock pick better. Like
I
that's my one thing I feel like
immediately, that was the first thing I upgraded. I don't think I'm like level 2, but I definitely have the first level.
I need to do more. I didn't go that route. I not yet. And I'm realizing it like after it's too late. So that's my next thing is like let me do. I don't even remember what my character build was because it was so long ago that I set that up.
Mm.
But I
No, I'm pretty sure I put a level into hacking and lockpicking. Just
yeah,
knowing the combat enough where like I probably have not. I might did melee combat too. I've since put one into
that's
small
smart.
firearms. I think those are the only 4 because you really don't start with a lot, um, in the scheme of things.
Yeah, and
Um,
there's no one thing I'm curious about that I haven't looked up. There's no let me walk up behind a guy and choke him out or put him in a sleeper hold.
I do not think so.
At
No.
least not yet. Okay.
Not to my knowledge. I don't recall seeing that button while remapping everything.
I mean, I'm also good at this point because basically what I've been doing is like walking up with the baton and just beating people until they stop shooting me, which is not a good tactic. I do like now that you've pointed out that like shooting really doesn't bear any major difference down the line. I can approach this a little bit differently because I've been
Now,
for
yeah, I
yeah,
don't want to say like it like no consequence. I feel like um I feel like some characters will interact with you a bit differently, but again, in the brief reading, it seems like all that stuff's early game is not going to affect the late game really at all. It's going
and
to be
that's
more the
fine.
objectives you more so the objectives or like the so another thing that I haven't experienced yet, but I was actually talking with someone at work about this and they were like clamoring like this is like the immersive sim
Yeah,
period. And they were saying like they love the fact that there are main characters you could turn your gun to and kill early that's going to completely impact some of the story beats in this game, and the game would just adjust to it.
that's nuts.
So like I didn't like press because I don't want to know any of the characters that might like I have a
Yeah, yeah,
feeling knowing the nature like this game fucking deals with the Illuminati and backstabbing and whatever. Like I have a feeling at some
yeah.
characters that I could potentially kill right now. But
My guess is like Anna, your partner will die. Your brother will turn on you, and the organization will turn on you. That's my
I
guess.
think
Is
the
like
UNATCO leader is probably some part of the Illuminati. Like
for sure.
it has to be.
Yeah,
But yeah.
I'm curious to see how that stuff all shakes out. Um, the one thing I forgot to look up until right now, and I will send it to you so you've got it as a reference point. But listeners, if you've never heard of this website, it is invaluable, and I always forget about it, and I shouldn't. Beforeiplay.com.
Oh right.
It's such
Yes.
a
Yes.
great resource that I never remember. And this has a full page on Deus Ex that's like, hey, install Kenty's Deus Ex launcher. It has great it's number one. Like this is the first thing you need to do. Um, but yeah, Deus Ex is a massive game that rewards exploration in many different ways. It's always worth searching areas thoroughly and talking to everyone you encounter for useful pickups, side quests, and interesting story bits. Even then, every playthrough is likely to reveal something new. And this is just like the beginning of this thing. This page is huge. Some of these before I play pages I've seen are like rather limited. There's like a couple sentences or like this is huge. Um, but it also tells you like here's what to avoid upgrading early on. Do this. Like there's all these little basic things that are like it's all spoiler free approaches to games. But yeah, I recommend this for any game you're playing where you're like I'm afraid of missing something or I'm afraid like those types of things. It's good. There's things that I don't think they really put any spoilers in here, but there are things where if you're sensitive to knowing kind of anything specific, they will black it out with a spoiler tag. So you can like hover to reveal if needed. But yeah, there's some good stuff in here. I'm gonna drop that to you. And speaking of kind of like playing any talking to everybody, interacting with everything, and getting to know the world, all that stuff. I keep interacting with like every time I go to a terminal or some computer or whatever, I'm like checking email, doing like reading the news or whatever. Have you been doing a lot of that stuff as well?
I was doing a little bit of terminal stuff as I was getting, um, the most cyber secure people agency known to man because I was getting some logins easy, including I even think the leaders. But
Yeah.
his login only works at his terminal, which is like the tricky part.
Right. Because
Um,
he's not like if you stand around and just like talk to him for too long, he's pretty much like pushing you out
yeah,
the door.
yeah. So, um, yes, I was starting to look at some of that stuff. There's a lot to read when it comes. So I don't think I read everything, but I have a feeling I'll be back at HQ at some point, like you kind of said. Um, yeah, I said I think I know some of the obvious story beats that are going to happen, but like I'm along for the ride to see how this thing shakes out.
Yeah, and I think we'll be surprised too, knowing just how wide and deep this game goes too. Um, I I guess the only other note I've got is just voice acting is great. Voice acting and sound generally, like hearing sound effects, like hearing footsteps and knowing that someone's coming is like crucial to advancing safely. Knowing when you're not crouching as triggered by your own footsteps is also very important. Because there's no visual crouch meter or like stealth. Like some later games would do that stuff, and I kind of don't hate that it's not here. Like, of course, it would be convenient and a huge quality of life improvement. But I'm also like, it makes me feel more engaged with the game to remember like I am crouching, I am sneaking, I am being quiet, or whatever it might be. Um,
The Square Enix Montreal games have an eye meter, I believe.
yeah, and I think that's a good addition we got to. Was Skyrim the first one that did that, or Oblivion, or
I think maybe Oblivion, like the Bethesda games were doing it for a while. Where if you as soon as you crouch, you had like a little eye where like people saw you, didn't see you, and you could steal. Which I know was
yeah,
like a meme in Skyrim. If you just steal enough, you just get the plus 99 and steal easily.
right. Anything else in your notes you want to hit before we?
Dude, my notes are full of fucking 2300234558 NSF001. Smash the state.
Yeah,
Like, it's a lot of that right now.
yeah.
I did say I have one here as one of the first notes though. Like, this is a slow game, and I think we kind of led with that with the whole reason why this is like a part one and not us. There was a pivot for us, but
Yeah,
it's slow. But I think if you take your time in it, the payoffs are massive, and I think like we've already
yeah,
started to see. I don't think you're gonna get the full Zelda thing here of like or the Elden Ring thing where like you're exploring this part of the map and it leads to this little fun side quest that you get to tell your friends about. I think it's gonna be like what we just talked about with that Battery Park level, where like we
yeah.
ultimately will get to the same objective. How we
Yes.
do it though is going to be a fun conversation as we continue to go through this game.
And like that, the how is so. That's the obvious like important part, but it's so important because it's like not just how in terms of like are you going in loud or quiet, are you going in lethal or not, like it's not even that. The how is like did you go in from that exit and did you talk to that guy and did you pick up that thing and did you like there's so many little layers that you can interact with. It's a really it feels like a living game. Like it feels like you're in New York City sneaking around in 2052 6 what year.
I don't know, but I know in the timeline of things, this is after the Adam Jensen
The
games.
Square Enix games.
Yeah, and in Deus Ex timeline,
Interesting. Who owns Deus Ex now?
it's um it's Eidos Montreal.
Yeah, but are they still? Who owns them? Are
Oh right, it's
they?
Embracer now, I think.
It is okay. Uh, yeah. Uh, oh right, I think Embracer changed its name. Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
yeah. Remember, I remembered a certain delayed input talking about the future of those changes.
Do you think we get another Deus Ex game?
No,
I,
no.
apparently, we're getting like. I didn't realize Thief is part of that.
I I
Interesting.
think they do anything, they'll remaster one of these games. Like I could totally see um our friends at
Night Dive.
yeah, giving this the
Do it.
system shocks treatment.
Yeah, I can see that.
And then depending on how that goes, I think.
Yeah, it's a. I mean, there's a lot to this game that like if this just we're good. We're past the barrier to entry, obviously, because we're playing. But there was a little bit of a bump trying to get into it. That if they can shave that off and just modernize controls a little bit, like I think they could easily bring this across. There is a PS2 version of this game. I have not. checked it out to see if it's comparable. I'm
Just hit the
sure.
place PS Essentials.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, it's on the
I forget
whatever
what's here. I think it's
classic
also
catalog.
available to buy from the store though.
Yeah. That I forgot that got announced. Yeah, so if you want to play this on PS5 this summer, sign on. Maybe I will. No, probably not. But that, yeah. I think all the PS2 stuff, it's PS4 and PS5. You can buy and play, or if you have Plus at that whatever tier it is. So yeah. Well, that is Deus Ex. For now, part one. We'll be back in a couple months with the next one in this series. Um, we're looking to kind of kick off our fall season to bring Deus Ex to a close. But of course, stay tuned to thefreecheese.com for the official date and episode number for that. Next week, we are hitting our last non-game episode for a while. It's our 50% podcast where we do a mid-year's check-in, talk about the games we've played so far, what's upcoming, and that's on the list and off the list. We'll be talking about some of the games we've just been having fun with, and not talking about week over week and ranking and all that fun stuff. But also games that are, we're anticipating. Maybe some news stories. There it is. Talk a lot about Magic Arena, I'm sure. Yeah, trends, etc. All that and more coming to episode 616. And then we're back just in time for the Superman movie with Superman 64. I'm stoked.
For the movie, I
I'm
hope,
sure
right?
both. I'm excited to see the game. Is it that bad? I don't know. I really don't know. Time will tell. Till next time. Thank you, JC Denton. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, listener, viewer, out there hanging out with us. We'll see you next time. Bye.